All right, so just down here in Kata Beach, Phuket, Thailand, found this little fishing spot right here, kind of a quiet morning, and just wanted to talk about this cosmology I've been building lately, basically drawing and culling from a number of different traditions and lineages, and creating a large enough picture that's simple enough at the same time to sort of encapsulate the whole of the reality into a simple pathway and process that we can then use to apply towards freeing ourselves, right? Towards gaining liberation in this life. So first of all, it's not a religious doctrine, and it's not about dogma or belief. It's a pathway, right? It's a framework, a way of seeing what's actually happening beneath the surface, and rooted in various wisdom traditions, but ultimately it's about direct experience. So it goes on this premise: the ego is the devil. It's not just like the devil, it is the devil, the master illusionist that convinces us we are separated from God, separate from each other, and it spins this whole story of me versus the world, constantly feeding these three core illusions. And these are fear, scarcity, and separation. Literally, these are the pillars of the ego's world, the foundation of suffering. And to keep them in place, the ego has three favorite tricks, and those are control, safety, and significance. So stay with me now. We can basically categorize everything under these three aspects. Control tries to manipulate reality to feel secure. Safety will build these walls to avoid pain. And significance chases achievement and validation. And this need to prove that we matter, right? But the problem is none of it ever leads to peace. It's just this treadmill, an endless loop that keeps us trapped in the game, in the clutches of the ego's power, the devil incarnate. But here's the thing: the ego has no real power of its own. It only operates on borrowed energy. It's like a shadow that's pretending to be the light. And it hijacks the life force, the raw energy of existence, and twists it into craving, attachment, and resistance. Now, if you catch it in the act, if you see its tricks right while it's happening, the whole illusion starts to crumble. And that's where the real transformation begins. It's literally about going all in on this. Once we get the understanding of it, we have to dive in fully. But it starts with just noticing it. So noticing when the ego is playing one of its tricks, when it's spinning a story, or trying to convince you that you need to control something, or you need to have someone's opinion of you be a certain way. And the moment you catch it, you've already begin to win. You start to break its spell. So instead of getting caught up in the illusion, you shift into awareness, right? In that recognition, in that space, the greater intelligence, the awakened consciousness, I like to call it, it's here. It's always right here, and it's sort of quietly witnessing everything from within this space. Now, the problem is this space is normally covered up with all these thoughts about control, significance, security, safety. But as you begin to recognize this pattern, it becomes easier to catch, because beneath the awakened consciousness, once that opens up, we have this pure foundation of I am. It's just being. It's not a thought, not a concept, but this undeniable sense of existence itself. This is the ground, right? This is the source. And when you rest there, everything changes, because now it's not just this seeing of something greater, but it's the embodiment of it. It's not just a mental realization, it's moved into the space of direct experience, right? The energy of let's say desire or fear, longing, pleasure, pain, doesn't really matter what it is. It has to be integrated or transmuted and then integrated and then lived. And it becomes pretty intense here, because when you stop suppressing or avoiding these energies and you just stay with them, they build. Sometimes it can feel like almost unbearable, like something inside you is going to explode. The ego wants to escape. He wants to release. He wants to control. But if you hold steady, you let the energy rise while you stay rooted in this I amness, presence. Eventually something shifts. And you realize through experience that you don't have to project this energy outward or let it go into thought or fight against it. It sort of breaks into something higher, something freer, almost like a different frequency, into expansion, resolve, and deepening of presence and fullness. So for a moment there's peace, right? Freedom. Not the absence of desire, but the desire has been transformed. It's no longer a craving, but it becomes this radiance. And then the cycle begins again. More energy rises, more illusions surface. You get a chance to witness them, this craving, this grasping, and you go through this process of awakening. As you recognize it, there's this awareness that opens up, the greater intelligence, sometimes I call it. And the more that the ego wants to keep us trapped in these fear states, which is its natural process, it can start to become fuel for our awakening. Oh, and it will try. It will continue to try. The moment you think you have it, there it is again, coming up through the back door. Oh, now I got a hold of something. Now I can control. Now, what if I'm not controlling? Oh yes, it gets the other fears. When you let go of control, oh my goodness, then the ego's, really starts to get stirred up. But as you stay with it, as you work with it over time, the ego's grip weakens. The devil becomes weakened by this. So fear begins to lose its power because you can release it with greater and greater ease. Same thing with control. Same thing with all of the attachments. Now the transitional period is challenging in its own way, because we can start to feel like questioning whether we're doing the right thing, on the right path, if we're just falling into some sort of spiritual complacency. But then soon enough we find we're caught again, fighting it, wanting to latch on to control again, thinking that's the way. But I know this is a lot, and we've covered a lot already with this thing. There's definitely way more to it, but again, my intention was to just be clear and as succinct as possible, so that we could start to get the framework, the cosmology, and a little bit of the process on how to bring it into your experience. So it's not just a theory, not just a dogma, but a foundation of who you are that you can always learn to rest into, find solace in, and freedom, and escape the devil's clutches in your life. All right, so I'll leave it there. That's it for today. Thanks for watching from Thailand. Hope you guys have an amazing, wonderful day, and I will see you again real soon.